Good morning. Thanks a lot. Okay. Thanks again for the introduction. It's a pleasure. Thanks to the organizer for having invited the Italian Civil Protection Department to be part of this relevant workshop. As I have been introduced as emergency manager, so my presentation will be a little bit focused on emergency, but I will have time to discuss some implication of working with the international scientific community, with the national scientific community. The aim of my presentation will be a short introduction of the civil protection structure that we can say it's an end user of the products of the excellencies that we have in Italy about technical and scientific issues. I work in civil protection since 20 years, and the way civil protection is today is a result of different factors. So there's a reason, yes, definitely, that we are how we are today. Definitely risks have shaped us in any part of the world, the way we conceive risk and the way we face risks. So as you see, Italy, as you can say, is a sort of supermarket of risks. So everything is present with very strong impact, and definitely lastly and terribly affected by the coronavirus. So it's definitely a very affected country to multiple risks. And of course, not all risks, but also the effect of risk. So you can see the last 12 years, this, for many of you, will not say a lot these names on the screen, but these have been the relevant emergency that affected the countries in the last 12 years. Okay, the big central circle is COVID-19, but in the last 12 years we had earthquake, and if I had to sum up victims from this emergency, we are around 1,000. That is not acceptable, I have to say, for a country like Italy. So summing up, geology, the disasters, but definitely human behavior has shaped the idea that we had towards risks and the way civil protection is today. When I say human behavior, I of course namely mean mistakes. So these are two different pictures from the Vesuvio, a very important volcano that is in Italy. And 1944, totally different from 2006. Something is going on in there. Something is definitely improving into a better direction. But again, the third factor I want to list is definitely the human behavior. So how have we to set up a system that could face this kind of situation in Italy? So if I could express civil protection in Italy with a single image, I would probably use the operational committee of civil protection. The operational committee is the most important strategical object when it comes to high-level coordination that we have in the country. In the yellow boxes, you see all the components, all the pieces that are part of the civil protection committee. But it is not, I have to say, only that. If I see that, I would like you to do that. You see also cooperation, participation, sharing is really an important moment. And it's, I would say, an emblem, a symbol of how civil protection is today in Italy. And before moving on, I had to say that lastly, this table was convened for the uncontrolled return on Earth of the rocket body of the Chinese satellite some weeks ago. And so at that table, we have the participation also of the Italian Space Agency. So it's really an inclusive table that has to take care of all the important partners that may help you in dealing with all kind of emergencies. The things that in Italy, civil protection does not belong to a single entity, but is a shared task. So all the component of civil protection and the new civil protection code definitely list all the different pieces that are part of civil protection. So everyone has a task. So that's why it is a shared task. And I think that is definitely the strength of the system to have distributed this task. Um, as you could see, the governmental structure, this definitely positioned the Italian civil protection in a really strategic position just under the Prime Minister office. And the Prime Minister as the regional governors. Many other countries, you may have district or counties, whatever, and then municipality. These three entities are so-called civil protection authorities. So the Prime Minister is addressing civil protection policies, and he does that using the Italian Civil Protection Department. This is an operational declination of what I said just recently, and it's, I would say, how the national, the provincial, the regional level are working together when it comes to a big crisis. I want just to emphasize the fact that it's definitely a system. I will never refer to civil protection as an administration, but always as a system. So that's how the Civil Protection Code is thinking of civil protection. So I will always refer that as a system. I have to put that in a drawing. It is not a centralized system, the first drawing on the left, but it's something probably in between the two, the second and the third drawing on the right. So it's a distributed system that has a very important, I would say, center of excellence in between. And important is, I hope, is clear the connection, the cooperation, the participation that is among the state, the regional government, but also the private sector and the other actors of the system. Is not civil protection is not emergency, not only emergencies, but is strongly acting in all phases of the disaster risk management cycle. And as you were mentioning, an important part is played by the early warning system. This is really a pillar of the Italian civil protection system. It's, and then after me, there will be also colleagues from other important agencies and organizations that are part of this, take part, not only in the early warning system, but also in, for example, the post-assessment after an emergency. But just let me say something about the early warning system that is definitely a pillar, and this allows the system to have a modular activation. So this is really important. This is, I have to say, a pillar of Italian civil protection. So when it comes to activate the system, definitely from one side I have the early warning, on the other side I have a strong connection with the EU. And so this is for me just to introduce the strong relationship that we have with the international community. These are the last 12 years abroad, different mandate, more on the humanitarian perspective rather than on a mandate that is established by the national code. And so just to show that is not only intervention after emergencies, as this slide shows, but the Italian Civil Protection Department is strongly involved in advisory mission, capacity building, and other kind of project financed or not financed by the European Union to support other countries in developing civil protection issues. And I just want to make a bridge with rapid mapping service. Since many years ago, Italy has a strong cooperation with a lot of agencies. I just want to mention IGEOS and Italian space agencies that are providing incredible support when it comes to decision making. So we definitely make a big use of these products in terms of satellite images, and these definitely can support the Italian civil protection immediately after, but also in the monitoring phase to have a definitely wonderful, fantastic overview about what's going on. It is definitely I have to enlist, it's not the only one, but I have to list that has a very fruitful cooperation. And just to conclude, just to hopefully to be on time, this system is definitely inclusive. Is the list that you have seen on the screen on the first slide is not an exhaustive one, but it definitely can be implemented by or complemented by other organizations. It's a strong legal framework. Recently recasted, the Civil Protection Code definitely is a strong element for the sustainability of this system. Strong interaction public-private, so there's not dealing with military, firefighter, police forces, but there's a strong cooperation with the private sector. Again, I already said about the international environment, and I want to emphasize the role of technical and scientific community that was established in 1992 when the first civil protection law was stated. So we really believe that this is a strong opportunity for the system to be always doing the mandate that civil protection is there for.